that. Back-to-back uploads. Trying to make it daily for y'all. Short-form content. So, yesterday we talked about coaching. Yesterday the news was Patrick Kane's surgery, out 4 to 6 months. Yippity-yippity, blah, 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 blah. In this video, we're going to be making a case for the Rangers to re-sign Patrick Kane to bring him back. And, well, I'm not going to get into the exact reason why. We'll get into that on the last slide. As you can see, it's a little cap-friendly thing going on right there. But we're going to talk about Patrick Kane, the player, and why the Rangers should bring him back. So, Patrick Kane, basically playing on one hip, had 12 points in 19 games and 6 points in 7 playoff games. This is on one hip. And playing a pretty reduced role from what he's used to in Chicago, him being the number one guy and the go-to guy for the past 310 years. And with the Rangers kind of just being an addition, just a body, just a guy. I thought Patrick Kane, his play style, it's a little slow. It's a little east-west. It's a little slow it down. But on the power play, undeniably, he's still very good. He's still got a very good shot. He can still pass the puck. He still has ridiculous hands. And, again, he was playing on one hip. So you wonder if a guy like Patrick Kane, one of the greatest American hockey players, one of the greatest hockey players of all time, coming back from hip surgery, if he's going to be significantly better considering the fact that he's not going to be playing in pain. He's going to be able to practice every day. He's going to be able to do all of this stuff. And, again, the fact that he had 57 points and what was that, 63, 70, so 57 and 60 and 73 with one hip at the age of 34, wow, pretty damn good. And it's still an attestation or a testament to how good of a player Patrick Kane still is, and that we really maybe only saw Patrick Kane at about 50, maybe 60%, again, considering the fact that he's playing on only one hip. I don't have a huge issue with Patrick Kane. Obviously we wanted more out of him, but considering the fact that he played 26 games with the Rangers and had 18 points in those 26 games as a middle six scoring forward, that's not too bad. And again, considering the fact that he's playing on one hip, you wonder what he's like at 100%. Looking at Patrick Kane, the individual, again, there's his points, 57 and 72. Good math. 35 even strength points, 22 on the power play, 227 shots. He shoots the puck. It's something the Rangers definitely cannot say. When you throw that, and only 16 penalty minutes, when you throw that against the rest of the Rangers, if you played a minimum 50 games for the Rangers, he would have been 4th on the team in points. For even strength points, he would have been number 1 on the entire team in even strength points. His power play points would not have been up there. He would have been 3rd in power play points. And his shooting, what did he have? He had 227 shots. He would have been 3rd on the team in shots, at least amongst forwards. So his 35 even strength points blew everybody. I'm sorry, holy shit. Whoopsie daisies. I had that backwards. His 35 points would have put him 6th on the Rangers. Excuse me. I think I had it by even strength goals, not even strength points. My mistake. Would have had him tied for 6th on the Rangers in even strength points in a diminished role. His power play points would have had him 3rd on the Rangers. And his shots with 227 would have had him 3rd on the Rangers. And that's just his, basic numbers that anyone could look at and just take a peek at. But these are the numbers I kind of want to focus on. So Patrick Kane, obviously we're not looking at his hits. We don't really care about his hits. But his giveaways, 2.59, and his takeaways, 1.31. So his 2.59 giveaways per 60 would be up there. Be 2nd worst on the team. His takeaways, not great. 2nd worst amongst Rangers forwards. And this is Patrick Kane, the player, right? He's not going to blow you away with takeaways. He's just not. 1.31 takeaways per 60 is actually not bad, but it's really not great. And he has a lot of giveaways. Now, I think Patrick Kane, coming off of his injury, being that he'll be in pretty much a diminished role, pretty much labeled to just the power play and the 2nd, maybe 3rd line, that those numbers might not be as egregious and as scary. Because he's not going to have the puck on his stick, and he's not going to have the ability to make that many mistakes anymore, because he's going to be in a diminished role, and he's going to be playing with guys like Laugh, maybe Trocheck, maybe Heedle, depending on how the Rangers roll out their lines. And while the numbers aren't incredibly attractive, if you're looking at giveaways, he's not nearly as egregious as Panarin. He's a little bit worse than Zibanejad and a little bit worse than Trocheck. And if the guy's putting up near point per game numbers, you could pretty much overlook that, especially if he's putting up points in the power play. The Rangers power play didn't struggle this year, but it wasn't as great as years prior. And I think having a left-handed shot that could take a one-time is something the Rangers don't have right now, unless Kakko or Lafreniere take that spot on power play number 1 next year, wouldn't hurt. at the very least, is a guy for power play number 2. And I don't think it hurts to have a guy like that, a guy who's won 3 Stanley Cups, a guy who's done all the things that Patrick Kane has done, played his ass off, played as hard and as good as he could with 1 hit last year. And now the biggest part with the Rangers is the financial aspect of it. So this is just me playing pretend. This is assuming Lafreniere takes the same exact contract Capo Caco got. And this is assuming K'Andre Miller gets the same exact contract that Ryan Lindgren got. It's also assuming that Brennan Othmann and Will Coley make the roster, assuming the Rangers sign a Josh Archibald type, and assuming the Rangers carry 23 forwards throughout the year. You LTIR Patrick Kane until he is healthy. It is now June. If he's out the full 6 months, that has a December-January return. At that point, the prorated cap space, the Rangers should have just enough money to call him up. If not, they can run a 22-man roster and still have a full roster. Because we ran 22 players, most of all last year anyways. If that works out, obviously Cooley Rotman, one of them goes down. Or if Cooley Rotman don't make it and you have another Archibald-type signing, send them down. Whatever you got to do. The fact of the matter is the money could work. And you don't have to trade Barclay Goodrow in this scenario. You don't have to trade Jacob Trouba. You could bring up Zachary Jones. You could do a lot of things and give yourself flexibility with this roster without having to make any drastic changes. Again, having to pay someone to take Goodrow, having to pay someone to take Trouba or buy out or do anything crazy. You could have this roster with Patrick Kane on LTIR without giving up anything and even making a free agent signing like a Josh Archibald, a guy that I'll have a mini player highlight video on eventually. Python Joey and I talked about him ad nauseum in a previous live stream where we're looking at affordable Rangers targets, bargain bin shopping as we called it. And Louis Dominguez, your backup goalie. And I don't know. I mean, you guys tell me, is this a bad roster? Like, even let's pretend this is post-trade deadline. Let's say Cooley gets sent down and Patrick Kane, boom, is on your third line. Okay. Is that a bad roster at all? I don't think it is. I mean, is it a great roster by any means? I mean, depending on how everyone does next year, maybe not. But still having Patrick Kane on this team fully healthy after his surgery, gets 6 months of rest, relaxation, who knows what happens? Even if he only plays, let's say, 41 games next season, if he has 30 points in 41 games as a third liner and a power play guy, is that bad by any means? I don't think it is at all. It's a 60-point player still. And who knows? Maybe he does even better than that because he was about what was his points per game this year? 57 and 73. It's like 0.58, maybe even 0.6 points per game. Hell, it's got to be more than that. No, probably closer to 0.7, which is over a 60-point player. So, like, yeah, I'll take that for $1 million. A prorated cap hit considering the fact he's going to miss over half the year. And on a 1-year, $1 million deal, you literally have nothing to lose. This is the exact same thing the Nashville Predators did with Mike Fisher when they brought back Mike Fisher after he semi-retired and came back midseason for one more playoff push. And many other players have done this before. The Leafs obviously had it when Mark Giordano took a discount. Cjethsyt took a discount. Trying to think of guys over the years who have come back for pennies, played out 1 or maybe 2 more years. But it's an option, and it's not one that hurts. And for $1 million, if Patrick Kane is willing to take $1 million, I don't see why you don't do that. Now, obviously, if he's taking something like closer to $3 million, then it kind of throws a wrench into the situation. But if Patrick Kane's taking $1 million and you know he's missing half of the season, I struggle to find an argument against it. This is like a trade deadline acquisition. This is kind of what the Carolina Hurricanes had with Max Pacioretty. He missed half the season. He came back. Obviously, he got hurt again. But he was a free trade deadline acquisition where you give up nothing but the cap space to just slide him back into the roster and pull him off LTIR. I struggled to find a scenario to where this doesn't work or make sense. But you guys tell me in the comments down below. This is just an idea I had because the Rangers are obviously struggling for cap space. And we're going to have to make moves like this to make the cap work next season because we're so tight to it. And again, this is based off a lot of assumptions that we're bridging Lafreniere, that we're bridging K'Andre Miller, and not trading Goodrow, not buying anybody out. So you guys have to tell me in the comments down below your thoughts on it. Personally, I don't see where it doesn't make sense, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I'm trying to do daily uploads. I'm trying very, very hard to keep daily uploads. So hopefully I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. If not, I'll see you on Twitter. Follow me at Cjethsyt on Twitter. See you guys in the comments down below. See you on Twitter. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.